Okay, so in my Monday video update from over here in Mallorca, I'm going to be telling you all about the tourism protest that took place over on the Playa de Palma yesterday, and that's from my perspective. I'm also going to tell you why this week is going to be just about the busiest week we're going to see here on the islands this year. Plus, I have a weather forecast for the week ahead, and I have to tell you now, it's all going to change, thank goodness, because I'm literally melting here into my chair over here at the Foodonetta Cafe, which is where I'm making this video over here on Magaluf Beach. Right, so we're going to start talking very briefly about the anti-tourism saturation protest that took place actually on the beach over in the Playa de Palma, and this is from my perspective as well. And the first thing I'm going to say is this isn't tourismphobia, this isn't against tourism, it's about the model of tourism that we can see over in the Playa de Palma. And if you want to know more about that, then check out a video that I made last week, and I'll pop a link to that in the description text below this video. I'll pin it at the end of this video too, so go and check that out. Now, I had hoped to have a video out all about this, but if you'd watched my live stream from over in Alcudia last night, you're going to know that I had a massive mic fail yesterday at the anti-mass tourism protest. I can't believe it, but I've got the new mics arriving this week as well, so fingers crossed we're going to see a big improvement to the audio quality of the videos, especially when that audio actually works as well. But anyway, let me tell you what happened. So as I made my way towards the protest, I was absolutely astounded by the level of police presence for around 40 to 50 people who had gathered from the Mallorca Playa tour group on the beach in front of Beach Bar 6 on the Playa de Palma. There was a helicopter circling in the sky. National police vans were out and in force, and they were standing along the promenade as well, just in case any trouble kicked off, which of course it didn't, because every single protest we've had over here in Mallorca about anti-tourism saturation has been peaceful. So I found it also very ironic that you could see the illegal cocktail sellers making their way through the beach, and the illegal street sellers as well, but the police weren't bothered about them. No, they were just more concerned about the peaceful protest that was taking place by the Mallorca Playa tour group. Now, I also have to say as well that while this did take place actually on the beach and in amongst holidaymakers, it was more of almost a celebration and highlighting Mallorcan culture. It wasn't anything particularly aggressive either, it wasn't aggressive at all actually, but it really did highlight issues, and these guys were talking to some of the holidaymakers about why they were protesting, which was actually really good, because I spoke to a German holidaymaker. Again, shame I didn't have that interview, but he didn't know what was going on, and it was great that these guys were spreading their message about the tourism model that we have over in the Playa de Palma and how they don't want it to continue anymore. Hopefully I'll get a chance to speak to Sebastian again from the Mallorca Playa tour. He was telling me too about his experience on the island, obviously as a local, and going out to restaurants around the island as well and not being able to speak his native language, and also being told only to speak Spanish, which, if you're local, if this is the place that you grew up, to have to go into a restaurant and speak Castilian Spanish, and just to let you know, over here in Mallorca, Catalan is the national language, and Spanish is kind of like the other language as well. So he did also say if you're coming over here on holiday, it would be quite nice as well if you learnt a few words, things like gracias for thank you, also bon dia as well for good day, that kind of thing. Some basic few words in Catalan will probably go a long way as well to have a little bit of respect for the culture on the island too. But maybe more about that in the future, because I want to bring you some more content coming out about some of the issues that were raised in the protests as well, and I do have a video coming out very soon about the Disneyfication of Mallorca, so as I've said, consider subscribing if you want to see what that's all about too. But I'm going to make a few other bits of content as well, just highlighting some of the main issues in the protest so you can understand it over and above the very emotive mainstream media articles that we've seen appearing in the press too. Now, I have to say that following my video from the Playa de Palma, which I released the other day, showing some footage from this year as to what it's like over in the Playa de Palma, I have to say I'm really actually impressed with some of the comments that were left on that video, and had a very positive response as well from you guys coming over here, and I just want to run through a few of them as well. Just want to go through what you guys have said. So, well, if you do want to see what everyone has said, I do encourage you to go back to that video and read those comments. I can't read some of them out because some of the language used in those comments isn't acceptable language for YouTube. I don't want to get that demonetized. You have to be really careful what you say on YouTube these days. That's another story. But anyway, let's just have a quick look at the comments. So, We've got one comment here saying, I fully sympathise with the locals and they should protest to protect their island. I'm visiting Palma in September, but show respect for the place and culture as always, which is fantastic to hear. Another visitor commented, and I assume this viewer is actually from Germany. He said, every few years the government of the Balearics enacts new laws to limit this kind of party tourism. There are often headlines in German media like, this is the end of the Ballermann, which is the whole area around Beach Bar 6, around Mega Park as well, but many of these laws are barely enforced and nothing changes. Also, they're doing advertising campaigns in German language like party with respect, but this also doesn't change anything. 2 years ago, some of the big bars and pubs like Beer Queenig, I always call it Beer Kong, it's Beer Queenig, and Mega Park gave themselves a self-conducted code of conduct, but they seem to have forgotten about this. Well, we've all seen that from my videos from over in the Playa de Palma, so will anything change in the future? Who knows? We also have one viewer's experience from their final day on holiday over in the Playa de Palma, and they said this is mostly a German resort and the few times we ventured towards Mega Park was chaotic at best. Mostly young people, some of them vomiting or urinating in the bush. Can I say that on YouTube? I'll soon find out. In full view of tourists on the promenade. We witnessed this ourselves to the cheers of his friends. This was approximately 8:30 p.m. Rough bars with minimal police presence and a glut of illegal street sellers all converging around Mega Park. Thankfully, we stayed midway on the Playa de Palma stretch and it was fine. Well, I'm glad to hear that you had a good experience from where you stayed, and shame about the rest. Now, another viewer, now this is really important, this is about tourismphobia as well, and it says, and they say, I can see the point in these protests and I actually agree with the locals. It's not fair that they have to witness behaviour like this, but we are not all like that and it makes us look bad. Now, here's a message for any protesters. If you're going to be protesting in the future, please be careful of the language that you use, because it's a shame that the actions of a few areas on the island are then applied to all tourists, which is just awful, because there's so many people that come here on holiday, they respect the culture, they support local businesses, and they've been supporting the island for years, and they behave as well. Not everyone is a drunk tourist that comes over here to Mallorca, so if you're thinking about your messaging, please be careful about who you offend, because at the end of the day, it's not about people coming here. Don't forget it's about the big hotel companies as well, and the flights and the airlines and the governments, and it's not about the tourists. So just be careful of your wording. If you do have another protest, this should be more of a government protest, not necessarily a tourist protest. So if you need any help with messaging, contact me. I used to work in PR, but I can help you out with some messaging if needs be. So anyway, also we have another comment. If the Germans stopped coming, most of the bars and restaurants couldn't survive. They certainly know how to spend, whether young and old. The appeal of day/nightlife certainly isn't cheap. Well, that's true. It's not cheap over there. And well, there's plenty of money running through that resort, but check out resorts like Cala Malor or Alcudia. They don't have this Playa de Palma tourism model, and they exist absolutely fine. If they got rid of that tourism model over in the Playa de Palma, people still come here on holiday. The beach is beautiful. You can imagine maybe some of the other holidaymakers would come out of the other resorts and go to the Playa de Palma, maybe spread out the experience as well, but do we actually need that model of tourism over there? Maybe not, but then again, like I said, a lot of money runs through that resort, and I'm pretty sure the recipients of that will be very reluctant to change that particular tourism model, which is why protests like this take place as well. So I think we're going to see an ongoing circle here. I really do. It also really bugs me too, because as a taxpayer on the island, and I work freelance here and I pay my social security, seeing all the beach sellers who pay no tax, no social security, too, makes you wonder why I just don't go and set up my own jewellery stall and just walk along the beach selling to holidaymakers. Obviously I'm not going to do that, but why am I paying a whole bunch of tax when there's a whole bunch of people on this island not doing the same? It's just ridiculous, and literally the worst time of my life. Every single quarter on this, as part of doing Mallorca Under the Sun, is actually preparing my taxes for the quarter. I absolutely hate it. It's just completely depressing. I'll make a video about what it's like freelancing. here on the island over the winter too, and I'll let you know kind of how much I have to pay every month as well, so stay tuned for that over the winter. But you'll find out why this is probably the most expensive place to work as a freelancer in Europe. So anyway, I can't complain, I'm doing it in a nice place, but anyway, finally, we also have over on Facebook as well another comment saying the Euros, which was the football match we just had, the football tournament we had, is probably an inaccurate representation of how things are normally. No, it's not. It's always like that over in the Playa de Palma. Loads of drunken tourism year round, whether you're visiting April, May, September, October, whatever. It's always like that. So yeah, it wasn't an inaccurate representation, it's just the way it is. But I'm going to leave the final comment here to Linda, and she has said they clamped down on Magaluf, so they should do the same in the Playa de Palma. Magaluf is a nice family friendly resort and we're looking forward to returning next week, which is where I'm going to leave any talk about tourism protests. So this moves us on onto why the island is going to be super busy this week ahead. So on the 15th, which is a Thursday this week, we've got a public holiday over here in Mallorca. It's going to mean that a lot of families are going to be taking the Friday off. It's called the bridging weekend. It may be the start of summer holidays for many people on the island as well. We're going to see the beaches looking very, very busy. We're going to see the resorts looking very, very busy as well. So I'm just going to make you well aware of that. On the upside though, the shopping centres are going to be open on Sunday. So Portopee, Fan, Festival Park, they're all going to be open. All the shops are going to be open. So it might be a great opportunity to pick up something in the sales. But I also have a warning for you as well, because everyone's on holiday, because we're going to have an increase of visitors to the island from wherever they're going to come from in the world. We've got an increase of hire cars on the road too. Just be careful when you're crossing the road. You may have seen my video from over in Palma Nova last week. You saw a mobility scooter as well, hurtling towards a pedestrian crossing. Pedestrian crossings are marked as zebra crossings with the white stripes on the road. Just don't step out onto them, not over here in Spain. You need to stop and see if the driver's actually going to stop, because they don't always do that. And I edited out of that video a bit where I nearly got taken out by a hire car as well, and I'm going to just drop this in here too. Just make sure you stop, look and listen. It's the old road rules that we learnt when we were about 3 years old at school, but it really applies over here. Don't just go ploughing across the road, because I don't hear of anyone getting run over either. Which brings me on to finally the weather update for the week ahead. Now I'm delighted to say, probably not for you guys coming over, but I'm delighted to say we're going to have a slight change of temperature. Summer always tends to break at some point during August, and it looks like we're going to have a slight breaking up of these really super high temperatures coming around Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Now we have a 90% chance of rain on Thursday. We've got about 60-70% chance of rain on Wednesday and Friday. What does this mean? Do not panic is the first thing I'm going to say. It doesn't mean it's going to rain from dawn to dusk. The chances are we're going to have a few heavy showers. If that's the case, leave the beach, go and get a drink, go to the bar, go and have some lunch, go and have a meal, and the chances are the sun will be out again pretty soon after that as well. But I will say we do have thunderstorms forecast, which means if you hear a rumble of thunder, please leave the beach. If you are still on the beach and you ignore that and then you see lightning, get off the beach immediately. And I'm going to say that particularly if you are taking umbrellas down on the beach, leave the umbrella in the sand, go back and pick it up later. It's not going to go anywhere. But for your own safety, if you see a thunderstorm coming to wherever you are on the island, get off the beach, go to a bar or cafe, go and have a few drinks and go back to the beach later when it's past. But please don't stay on the beach, and definitely don't stay in the water either. I don't want to hear of anything happening in the press this week following a thunderstorm and the amount of people we are going to have on the island either. Okay everyone, I hope this video proved useful. I'm going to be back here next week, next Monday, with another update from over here on the island. Got plenty of content coming out for the week ahead too. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, follow me on Facebook, on the Mallorca Under the Sun Facebook page. Come and join the Mallorca Under the Sun Facebook group too, and you can find me on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun too. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.